What's going on? Here we are. It's Monday. It is 1:30 Eastern, 6:30 GMT, and I am glad to be here chatting with you. Welcome to Rune, to Eunice, to I'm Depressed. Regina is here. It's so good to see you all. It has been an incredible week. Last week, there was no show, and I want to apologize. That was not my intention, but on the way home to coming to do this show, I got in a small car accident. It was not my fault. I had a guy was driving, it was snowy where we live in the Midwest, and he just took a turn a little too fast and slid right into my car. Did a couple $1,000s worth of damage, but we got the insurance, which is really good. Covered all the damages and stuff like that. I was a little sore this week, but otherwise I'm doing well. So thanks so much for everyone in Discord and Twitter and otherwise just checking in on me, making sure that I'm doing all right. I appreciate that. And yeah, we're here, we're back. And I had hoped this would be a more fun show, right? Because we lost both games that week, and I thought, this is, it's kind of depressing thing to talk about anyway. And here we'll be coming back and talking about some more positive vibes. And then we had that great showing in the Europa League, and then it happened. We lost to West Ham, and so we're going to talk about Jose Mourinho today. Just looking back at this chat, Regina, it's good to see you again, my friend. And Techno, welcome. Ravenger, welcome. What did you miss? You didn't miss anything yet. We're just getting started. And so, you know how this works. We're going to have a show. I love to chat with you, hear your opinions about different things. We've got questions that we'll be kind of working through together. And I'll be sharing some of my opinions on Jose, on some of the different players. We're just going to go from there. I had trivia lined up last week, and so maybe we do trivia. If you want to do some trivia today, you let me know in the chat, and we'll jump right into it. So, let me take a look here. First things first. If you're new here, oh gosh, of course that's not going to work. If you're new here, welcome. We always try to do a little bit of questions, post-match thoughts. So I want to hear your post-match thoughts. What were the highlights of the games? What were the lowlights of the games? What did you think about the game management, your man of the match, things like that? I always love to just hear your general thoughts. And then I'll have some specific questions as well. For example, this was after the Europa League game. I was asking, based on this performance, who deserves a starting spot versus West Ham? And so, I threw my hopeful starting 11 up there, and pretty much it was mostly the same, except I had Lamela thrown in there instead of, I had Sissoko in there instead of Lamela. And I just in part because, man, you remember the time we played against West Ham and Sissoko was just all up over Mark Noble and stuff like that. I just think, man, it would be so fun to see him back on the pitch. Okay, yes, please, and agreed. Maybe if there's time, would love to do trivia. We'll do some trivia at the end. I'll make sure that happens because that is a ton of fun. So anyway, so that was my starting 11, and so some people were sharing on the Discord server. Eunice had said Bale and Dele to start. And I agree with Bale. I felt like, some people were saying Dele had a really good game in the Europa League. I just felt like he had a meh game. I didn't feel like he overperformed in any way. Ryan had said Bale as well. Looking down here, Ravenger said Bale did well and I'm happy, but he can't do what Moo asks from right wingers. He can't get down and cover lots of ground. Luke Ferris said Bale. Regina said Bale played quite well. He looked more confident in his body and his ability, showed glimpses of what the Bale of old. We should start him on Sunday. Mora was brilliant. He had a end product in his dribbles and build-up play, which is one of the biggest letdowns for him in the past. And I think Mourinho should play him on the right wing against West Ham. And so Mourinho played Mora, and Bale came on from the bench, and I was surprised by that. What about you? Were you surprised by that? I felt like Bale deserved the start, and he deserved to play the whole match. And man, he looked sharp when he came on. You know, got that assist, and I felt like he really added to the team. But it is going to be, it's going to be a long show because we're talking about another Tottenham loss. What's up, Ginty? Good to see you as well. Ashley, Jose out. Well, that's what we're here to talk about for sure. So let me go back to these questions. So that was, like who should start. But one of the other questions I had, which I think is actually an important question for us to think about as we get to the end of the season here, is would you buy Vinicius this summer from Benfica? And how much would you pay for him? And so you can let me know in the chat what you think. But I've been surprised by Jose Mourinho's use of Big Vinny. I just feel like he has scored goals. Now, again, it's not against top talent. It's not in the Premier League. It's in the Europa League. It's in the Cups. But when you start to talk about some of our former backup strikers to Harry Kane, they didn't even perform. They didn't even score goals. So I feel like Vinny has come in and done what you would expect of him. But then, what happens? It's like Jose throws out Son in the front instead of Vinny. And Vinny still scored a goal against Wolfsburger. So, man, I felt like he's done really, really well. So the question is, would you buy him, and how much would you pay for him? Because I'm assuming we would never pay the $45 million, loan clause in his contract. I just think that's far, far too high. Someone was talking about, how much Werner costs and some of these others. It's like $45 million is far too high. So what would you have to say? I'm seeing some people in the chat. Let's see here. Bale deserved the start. He was the bright star in our game against West Ham. I completely agree. I was really hoping for that, last minute strike or something like that would have just sealed the draw. It would have felt like a little bit of karma or something like that. They stole some points from us. We could steal some back, but it never really happened. Rune saying Jose isn't the problem. This is the debate I want to have. So we'll have it in about 10 or 15 minutes and really just kind of see that out. Techno is saying, to be honest, Dyer and Sanchez out. Ashley says, no, I would buy Ings. And man, if they were about the same price, that would be a great signing. I think it would be tough because, I believe he's English, right? And so the cost would be already high, but he's definitely already proven Premier League player, and that would be awesome. Eunice, Vinny is good. He's just being managed by a dinosaur that is well finished and overrated. Okay. THFC Max says, no, Vinny is like 40 million. I won't buy him. There are cheap and better strikers out there. And that's what I agree with you. I don't think for his release clause with this loan, I think that's far, far, far too high. But I feel like he's doing the job, at least in the Cups and at least in Europa. He is scoring goals. That's what we want from our backup striker, to be able to depend on them when Harry Kane is not playing, or so that we don't have to play Harry Kane. And I know he's had some games that are where he's a little bit absent, or he doesn't really seem to, his hold-up play is pretty good, but he doesn't really get into the game as well as Harry Kane. But dude, if you're comparing anyone to Harry Kane, who's getting into the game as well as Harry Kane? So personally, I think I would try to buy him. But I would do it for more of like a Matt Doherty price. You know what I'm saying? Like a 15 million, maybe a Pierre-Emile Højbjerg price. That's the only way I could make it happen. So Let's see. We got some other comments in here. I'm depressed said, no, I wouldn't if I have Kane. Rune says, only for under 20 million. Yeah, I agree. 20 million kind of tops. Ginty says, yeah, make him a part of the rebuild we need, especially if Kane leaves. We don't win cups this season. That's for sure. Eunice, I say 25, 30 million max. And I guess that's probably more of a striker's price, right? But we are in this kind of a unique season of having, you know, what does COVID do to the price tags of players? I don't know. Darren says, we are in decline. Told you Leicester has overtaken us. Yeah, it was a disappointing display. About the West Ham game. We'll get to that. What's up, Alex? Shout out. What's going on? Yeah, so let's see. Eunice says, please tell me what striker right now would come to us with no Champions League and maybe even no Europa League for that price. And that's a good question. In fact, you know, guys, I did this for last week because we had lost against Everton. And then we had lost again. And so I wrote this little ditty, this little song. I thought I'd share it with you, if that's all right. And I hoped I wouldn't have to use it. But here's how it goes, all right? Let me take these headphones off. Give me 1 sec. All right. Getting out the guitar because you know this song already. If you're a Spurs fan, you know this song. But this is how it goes, okay? Here we go. You know we can't smile and watch you. We can't smile and watch you. We can't laugh and we can't sing. We're finding it hard to do anything. You see, we feel sad when you're trash. We feel bad when you're bad. If you only knew what we're going through, we just can't smile watching you. Come on, you know this song. Sing it along. You came along just like a song and ruined my day. Who'd have believed that we were Champions League? Now it all seems light years away. You know we can't smile and watch you. We can't smile and watch you. We can't laugh and we can't sing. We're finding it hard to do anything. You see, we feel sad when you're sad. We feel bad when you're bad. If you only knew what we're going through, I just can't smile watching you. Oh, we just can't smile watching you. All right, there you go. That's my song. You know, I just, so disappointing. Week after week, day after day, match after match. You know what I'm saying? So disappointing to see where we're at, but that's how I feel. I don't know if that's how you feel, but I just feel like we cannot smile watching these friends. Yes, I brought out the guitar. Welcome, Mr. K. Welcome, Harris Army. If you're here, I'm so glad that you're here. Hopefully you enjoyed the satire of the song, you know, but we're supposed to smile watching Tottenham, and I just can't right now. I just can't. Even when it comes to like the Europa League win, like I enjoyed it. You know, we won 4-1, but it's hard to smile about it. It's hard to smile about what's going on. So anyway, glad we could have some crying, laughing faces on here, some clapping and some laughter, some wow, just wow. I appreciate your kind words, and you know what it is, what it is. Jinty, I'm cringing and loving your song at the same time. You know what? That's how I feel on the inside. I feel like I'm cringing a little bit, but I was having fun. So those were some of the first questions, that I asked about the Europa League game. And, some questions for me, I asked, do you have any questions for me? Because, I often, I'm the one who's asking the questions, but let me ask you, do you have any questions for me? Anything that you're thinking or wondering you want to talk about in the chat? One of the questions that was mentioned in the Discord server, this was from Ryan, says, can we go top 4 or win the Europa League? And I think that's a great question. I'll put it to you. Do you think we can go top 4? I mean, mathematically, it's still possible. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we can go top 4. At this rate, it doesn't even look like we're going to make top 6. So it's really disappointing, obviously. Do I think we can win the Europa League? Yes. I feel like there's an opportunity or a chance to win the Europa League, and that's how we could get Champions League. But it's going to take a lot to make that happen. Other questions? Ravager asked, my question for you is, do you still think Ben Davies is better than Reguilon? And I just want to clarify myself, because I feel like, I've been on the side of Ben Davies at times on this show. And so here's what I want to say is, I think Ben Davies is consistent. I know I've said that 1,000 times. I know that Reguilon is going to be a better player than Ben Davies, but I do think at times he still makes mistakes and he overruns balls. He's inconsistently good, if that makes sense. And it's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Like, obviously Jose Mourinho trusts Ben Davies. He's been playing him game after game after game. And Reguilon was injured, but even when Reguilon wasn't injured, Jose still trusts him. And so I gotta believe that Ben Davies might be the best we have. I'm not saying he's the best left back. I'm not saying he's always better than Reguilon, but I do think at times he's more consistent. Luke Ferris asked, what's the best case for the round of 16 draw for Europa, assuming we don't blow it out next week? Knock on wood. I think the best case is continuing to get more and more teams that are going to help boost our confidence. I know that's a kind of a sad way to put it, but we've had some really lucky draws, and I really appreciate that. I think we need that to just keep our confidence going and not lose sight of everything else that's going on. I want to go back to the chat really quick and connect. Here we've got, let's see. Brutus says, Patrick Bamford, English, $16.5 million market value. Contract with Leeds expires next June. It's a potential. And let me put it to the chat. Would you take Bamford? I think he's doing all right this season. English helps, of course, but definitely I think it's still kind of a gamble to take Bamford. Is it more of a gamble than, say, Carlos Vinicius? I don't know. Because he's English, that makes it a little bit easier in my opinion. I'd say, yeah, take Bamford, but not really sure. Darren says, Sunday made me depressed. I'm telling you, it is so, you go into that match and 5 minutes in, you're already down. I had a little bit of hope, but we were not at the races. We were just not ready for the first, I don't know, half hour or so. It just felt like, what are we even playing? Like, who's playing? Who's even trying? And that stuff really angers me so much. Techno says, you can't smile when you play Europa and win big, but you can smile when you win big in the Champions League, and that's true. Lots to smile about there. Rune says, why would Harry Kane even consider staying? That was due to the question of the day. The question of the day is, does Harry Kane finish his career in Lily White, or do you think he leaves North London before his career is over? I'll let you kind of duke that out in the chat, and then maybe I'll share what my thoughts are. Mr. K says, if we win a league match, will you sing again? Yeah, sure. I did the other Old Lang Syne. Tottenham Old Lang Syne. I was feeling good about New Year's. Anyway, we were also closer to the top of the table back then. But yeah, I don't mind being a fool a little bit and singing. I want this show to be lighthearted because the world right now is stressful, right? Just everything in life. It's hard to smile, just in general. And I don't know what you're going through in your own personal life. You might have family, friends, or whatever that you're, just dealing with other types of chaos in life. And so, yeah, we can debate and have really good conversation on here, but I also want to keep it lighthearted as well. Luke says, is there a tactical fix for our defense right now? Or are the quality of players the issue? That's a great question, Luke, because I don't know before Sunday, but I think after Sunday. But before we played West Ham, I think the numbers were we'd conceded the least number of goals. We were like third or fourth in terms of conceding goals, which is crazy because I feel like we've been awful. And maybe that's just because my expectations are so high of us, and we've seen many of these goals coming in with 15 minutes left in the game. And we've dropped so many points because of those goals. I think that's another part of it, is the risk reward, right? With what seems to be Jose's style of play is winning matters more than goal difference matters. It ends up being, if they score within the last 15 minutes, you lose 2 points. You lose 3 points. So I think that's what's so disappointing. I don't know right now. I think that's why I wanted to have this conversation. Is it Jose? Is it the players? What is it? Who is it? Because there is so much to look at. And it does seem like a lot of individual errors, set pieces. There's all sorts of different reasons. And Jose's a very, interesting character in how he manages. He is a manager, not a coach. Where I would say Poch was a coach, he wanted to help develop players. Jose Mourinho doesn't seem like that. He develops a mentality. I think he develops you could even hear, there was a Marcus Rashford interview just recently where he talked about what Mourinho did for him in his development. He said, it might not have been my style, but it really helped him think about the importance of winning. And I think that's what Jose's doing. He is managing the players, but if you don't have the drive, that was the problem with Tanguy and Ndombele at the beginning. He did not see the drive in him, and so he just didn't play him. And I think in some ways I love that, right? Like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, when he is on fire, you love that. You want to see that consistently. He is celebrating goal kicks. He's celebrating corners. I love that. That's a guy that has the desire within him, and Jose doesn't need to manage that. He just needs to manage tactically what's about to happen. So I do think it's personally a little bit more the quality of players. So we'll keep on keeping on here. Man, there's a lot of chat in here. I really appreciate that. So I'm sorry if I don't get to all of it. There's some questions about us progressing and things like that. And I think that is the real question. Are we progressing? I don't. Even Pochettino said that we were going to need a rebuild, and so that's what I think is needing to happen. Regina had also asked a question. Do you think it's time to start looking for a Lloris replacement? He's been a bit shaky the last few games, with the Wolfsburger game being an exception. He's almost in his mid-30s. It's well known that he wishes to return to his home country and hang up his boots there. Which goalies would you like to see us purchase as a replacement? I think it's time to start looking, and that's no disrespect to Lloris. I think Lloris, hopefully he'll be here for another season or two. He's a World Cup winner. The captain's armband given to Lloris, it's how do you take it away from him now? He's been the captain for so long. But I do think he's kind of missing that leadership role sometimes. And I would love to see him or see the captain be that Højbjerg kind of leader. So I think you start to look for a young keeper. Maybe we have one already. You know, I don't ever see any other young keepers. Joe Hart, you know, you just take a shot from outside the 18, it seems to go in, kind of like a Jordan Pickford, but older. So who knows? It's tough to know. And who would I look for? You know, I've seen a lot of conversations about that. I'm at the moment, I'm just going to hold off and do some more research. I did a little bit. Actually, I might be able to pull it up. I did a little bit of research on keepers. Yeah, here we go. Just pulling this up here. And I'm not even going to give these names. Anyway, just to know, like, I think a lot of things matter in terms of how much do they cost right now? Where are they in their contract? And do they want to come to Spurs? And if they want to come to Spurs, it's easy. It's easy for Levy. It's easy for anybody else to be coming in here. But as we've said, it's like, dude, if we're not playing Champions League, it's going to be really hard to recruit top young keepers that could be here for a generation, you know, or something like it. Going back to some of these questions, you know, I moving on to the West Ham kind of stuff. My question was, is Lucas Moura worth keeping this summer if someone came to buy him? Who is your man of the match and why? And is this on Jose or the players? And that's the big conversation that I think we need to have. So going to my question regarding Lucas Moura, you let me know what you think. I think Lucas Moura is worth considering selling. You know, Moura, you wouldn't know it because his hairline, but the man is actually, he's in his, like, I think he's 27. You know, sometimes I look at him and I think he might be 42, but he is not. That's just male pattern baldness. So he's you know, kind of in the prime of his career. And the bummer for me when I was looking at his contract, I think his contract runs to 23, 24 or something like that. So he's got a lot left, and that makes it tougher to sell, at least I'm sure in the eyes of Daniel Levy. But I would love to see what could come in for Lucas Moura. That would be super, super important. Going back to the chat here, let's see. Darren says, Højbjerg looks tired. We overused him. I think that's true. Ravager, I'm going to click the like button. Thank you. Click that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We have been so close to 500 subs and just have not been able to cross that line. And we're going to get there, friends. We're going to get there. Todd, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. I think the fact that we can't take the armband off him is a bigger problem in the locker room than we want to talk about. That's a good point regarding Lloris. I would love to ask you, Todd, do you think that's because we don't have someone to give it to? Or do you think it would just mess up with, like, it would mess with the chi of the locker room in such a way that, that's the bigger problem? Sell Lucas. Yeah, I'm kind of with that. Luke agrees with Todd. I love Hugo. He's been a servant of the club, but there are some locker room issues at Spurs. It might be because Kane is a shut up and play kind of guy. I think that's true. Kane lets his play do the talking more than his mouth does the talking, and people give him all sorts of crap when his mouth does the talking. I feel protective about Harry Kane about that. You know what I mean? When I see people making fun of him. But so yeah, that's the question about Lucas Moura. Let me go back to I think what the real question is, and so I would love to get your feedback. We're going to talk about Jose in, Jose out. Is it even Jose? Is it the players? Is it the board? And that's what I think Bill was alluding to in the Discord server, which is that this is more of a board problem than anything else. So let me just hit this chat really quick, and we'll go back to that question. So you let me know. I would love to hear a reasoned explanation for your Jose in, Jose out. If you're like, Jose needs to leave, I want to hear why, because I'm not convinced. I don't think it's been enough time in the situation that we're in. We've got COVID. We've got no fans in the stands. And I think that's affecting a little bit how can we analyze Jose's tenure as manager so far. He's not even finished his first full season yet. I think it's a little too early to pull the ripcord. So you tell me, Jose in, Jose out. Do you think it's the board? Do you think it's the players? Get in the chat. We'll start talking about that. And let me just finish up some of these last comments here. Ashley says, if you can get 10 million for Lucas, I'd be happy. You know, that's the thing. I think Lucas could be sold for closer to 20. And yet he's been so good in cups. Obviously, you know, the Champions League hat trick and such, but even this week, you know, he's scoring goals, and he's another player that sometimes I just feel is too streaky. Like, you can't really depend on him long term. You kind of got to catch him like a wave, and when he's on that wave, you just ride that wave and hope you see a lot of goals and stuff like that. But it's really difficult to know what's going to say. Eunice is saying, go back to my comments. Yes, there's a reason why this man was sacked at Chelsea, Madrid, and United. He picked fights with Ramos, Pogba, because they didn't fit his agenda, and look at them now. And that's something to say about Jose Mourinho. And so here's the question. Pull this up. Is this loss and season on Jose or the players or the board? And let me just do this really quick. You know, just to discuss who we're looking at here. You obviously know Jose Mourinho. I don't have to tell you who that is, and you know Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy being the chairman. This here is, I believe that is Donna Maria Cullen. She's the executive director. You have Rebecca Capelhorn. I can't remember which is which. I apologize for that. And then you have Matthew Collicott, and I'm sure I'm saying those names wrong.
Everybody says my name wrong.
I apologize for saying those names wrong. And then last here, you've got Anthony Hopkins, also known as Steve Hitchen, who oversees our recruiting. So, yeah, is this loss and the season on Jose? Is it on the players or on the board? Now, before we get too far into this, I want to just share. I want to hear your comments, and then I'll share an interview from somebody that on Twitter, they were just talking about this being a very important interview to consider with Jose Mourinho. And just to show you how much people are all over the place when it comes to this, you know, this is just from some bookmarked tweets that I've got. Just a reminder that Jose wanted him, and we ended up with Rodin. Mourinho is not the problem. This is Carlos THFC. You know, so wait, we started Poch's first 50 games. He only had 3 more points than Jose has got in his first 50. This is awkward for those trying to convince everyone that Poch would have been sacked after 16 months if he got the results Jose got. George got a huge YouTube channel, says we play defensive, we lose. We play attacking, we lose. Individual errors, FC. Spurs International, defending, unfocused start, sloppy passing, and ball watching in the first 30 minutes, not on Jose. Team selection and tactics are on Jose. If the players can play like that the last 30 minutes, they can play like that the first 30 minutes. That isn't coaching. It's focus, concentration, and effort. And this is the interview I'm going to take a look at in just a minute. Jose isn't at fault, from Sabias TV. Eunice said here, and if Spurs lose this game, I'm never waking up at 5 a.m. to watch an early morning kickoff. Sorry, but this is disgraceful. And that is so true. I think that's what's so disappointing, especially for, you know, being 7 a.m. for me. It's like, oh my gosh, to watch that start is just so difficult. So, all right, here's what we got. I'm coming back to the chat. You know, Eunice had said about there's a reason why he got sacked at these different places. I would agree with you that there was a reason, and maybe he is past his prime Jose, but you know, that year seemed to to bring about a different Jose Mourinho as well. And so I'm not sure if he is the same. And we are Spurs. We're not Chelsea. We're not Madrid. We're not United. And that plays a part in this. And so maybe it is Jose, and maybe it is the board. So Luke says, you got to have a hire if you're going to make a fire. That's a great point. Yeah, who do you bring in? You know, I've heard Nagelsmann or whatever, but yeah, at this point, who do you even try to bring in? And why would they come to Spurs? You got to give a good reason to come to Spurs right now. And I do think we're in a rebuild, a true rebuild, and it's getting off to kind of a bit of a false start. We don't have a packed stadium. We're not making as much money as we anticipated. You know, as people say, Jose should have been backed, and forget that he spent $326 million at United only to get them a Carabao Cup and Europa League. I'm sure that wasn't the aspirations, for sure. Todd says this is 60% on Enik, 30% on the players, and 10% on Jose. Regina agrees. Ravager looks to disagree. Definitely out. Rune comes back and says 50% on Enik, 40% on the players, and 10% on Jose. And that's what's such a debate about this. Is it's like, yeah, who's it on? The players? Is it the board? Man, Jimmy, what's going? Am late to the therapy sesh. Yeah, we had Dr. Hotspur on a couple of weeks ago helping us figure out our expectations. And Regina had said this in the Discord that, you know, maybe especially if you're a season ticket holder of Spurs, that you should get some like free counseling in there for some mental health stuff. Rune says Steve the Fraud Hitchin, and you know, yeah, it's an interesting, you know, I don't think that the Amazon docuseries helped him by any means. People seem to take what he said about the January transfer window and be like, dude, you don't even like doing your job. I'm not sure if that's what he was saying. And it might be too. He's working with Daniel Levy, right? And Daniel Levy is not just like a free spender. You got to really work hard to make that work. So I think all of these are really good points. Let me show you this video, and then we're going to discuss. So this is an interview with Jose Mourinho. I don't know that how long ago this was. It was posted January 31st, 2019. This is obviously while he was being a pundit and not a manager. And he talks about the next managing he wants to do. And so I'm going to just show this in little clips, obviously.
My philosophy depends.
So he talks.
I would love to go to a.
Here it is.
I would love to go to a club and to be in conditions to do what Jurgen and Pep, for example, they did.
So he says he wants to go to a club and do what Jurgen and Pep did. Now, this is really interesting, right? Because what did Jurgen and Pep do? Well, he says it.
You look to the team that Liverpool started the game today. How many players were there before Jurgen arrived?
So he's comparing it to, you know, and he said this already while being manager of Tottenham, that when you look at what Jurgen had, what he started with, how many players were there when he started versus when they won the Champions League. This is around that time. Is a different team. It's a different squad. Jurgen built that squad. And so he's using that as an example of Pep built that squad. Here he continues.
Not many, if any.
A couple. And when Pep was not happy with the 4 fullbacks that he had, and in the same summer he bought 4 fullbacks that he liked.
So then he goes on to talk about how Pep was able to make these changes to the squad, right? He didn't like 4 fullbacks. Man, we would say this about our center backs, right? And then he was able to go out into the market. And then he goes on to talk about how he bought a keeper. That keeper didn't work. He bought another keeper the next year. And so I think the point he was trying to make is the next club that he goes to and wants to manage, he wants to be there for around 5 seasons, which is really interesting for Jose Mourinho. You know, he's got that 3 and out kind of personality. It seems like he just wants to move on to the next thing, but he kind of sounds like he wants a project here. And I'll give you the link. Here's the link to the Sorry, I'm struggling here. to the video. Don't watch it now. Stick around. But anyway, so that you can go watch it yourself, because it's very interesting, and he talks about his philosophy and what he wants in the next chapter of his managerial career. And this, I think, is super important because it explains a lot of why I don't think he's worried about his job, and it makes me have a little bit of hope. Now, we're talking about Daniel Levy right now. When you're talking about Daniel Levy, it's really, really, really tough to get Daniel Levy to spend money, spend a lot of money. But what he's saying is, I want to go to a team and be able to say, all right, let's stay here long enough to keep a couple players and rotate or get rid of the rest of the squad. And I think you can see who his keepers are: Son Heung-min, Harry Kane. Those are the only ones I would want to keep right now. Everyone else kind of needs to be turned over. Hugo Lloris, over time, right? But even Hugo's been having so much trouble. So let me go back to this chat and see what you're saying in here. Luke says, in football, the players always get the benefit of the doubt before the manager. Jose gave it his best shot, and it didn't work with this group. The problem is, I don't know if there's a better solution. And that's what I would agree with. I mean, these, maybe not all of the same, certainly, but certainly some of these players are the same ones that helped see Pochettino get the sack. And so you just don't know what to make of it. Ravenger, we weren't a club that went to the Champions League for the past 5 years when Poch came. That's true. Our expectation is higher now. You can't compare Poch's first 50 games to Mourinho's first 50 games. And I can agree and disagree with that, because yes, we are a different team, but you have to remember as well, like, every other team has continued to improve around us. It's not like everyone else was told they had to stand still and then we could like add some players and Jose Mourinho and get ahead. And on top of that, this is not like an easy market to be jumping into. You've got all sorts of restrictions financially, not just us, that's everyone. And we don't have the money to spend like Manchester City, Manchester United, etc. Liverpool. So, and Liverpool's not spending nearly as much, and look at them, they're suffering. So anyway, I think it's I don't want to over defend Jose, but I do want to say, like, I do feel like our issues are warranted. Like we kind of, these are the issues that we're going to have right now. We're in the first full season of Jose Mourinho. Yes, we brought in a good number of players, a couple of them on loan. And some of them have been questionable. Joe Hart's questionable. Matt Doherty's questionable. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is amazing. Sergio Reguilon is amazing. And getting that to work out together, getting rid of the dead wood in our squad, it's going to take time. Let's see here. Eunice says, Jurgen and Pep actually know how to manage and build confidence, and not put their players under the bus and call them out, which is, I like that. That's kind of funny because he parks the bus and then puts people under it. They back their players regardless. Unlike this is the finished product that we have. Yeah, maybe. And Jose Mourinho's personality is obviously different from those two managers, right? I mean, that's just who he is. It's how he manages. He's confrontational. He purposefully will say certain things to get something out of you, right? Like, he's very challenging as a human. And it's worked for him in some areas, and in other areas, man, it's starting to show. But I don't, yeah. Personally, you're hearing it. I want to give him a little bit more time. I would love to see him get some more players. And the mistakes, they're hard to deny. Like, a lot of these goals that are let in, you're like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? And you don't know if it's because their lack of concentration or whatnot. But Todd's saying give him 5 years like Jurgen got. Brutus is saying, or 1 billion like Pep got. Yeah, dude. I think there was a stat, I gotta find it, but I think Manchester City has spent more on defense than most countries have spent on like their military defense, second to like the United States or something like that. I wish I could find that quickly, but I believe that to be true. Ashley says, even though we lost the other day, seeing Bale play with freedom put a smile on my face. And let me just say that was great. And I think he's coming back, which is amazing. I want to see him coming back because I think he could help reignite, some of the lightheartedness. He seems to be very lighthearted at Spurs, and that's huge. I think it will help kind of counterbalance the Harry Kanes and the Højbjergs. I think you need a good variety like that in the dressing room. 92 flamethrower. Let's back Dyer, Sanchez, and Davies. World-class players. Yeah, I don't know about that. Jamie's saying, what's Hannibal Lecter got to do with Tottenham? I'm just saying that he looks like Steve Hitchen. That's all I'm trying to say. Let me pull up a picture of Steve Hitchen. Steve Hitchen. Am I wrong? Let's see. Let me pull this up. Steve Hitchen, right? And then Anthony Hopkins. I don't know. I just think they kind of look the same. So I thought it was funny. Anyway, maybe it's just going over people's heads and I'm just laughing to myself over here. When Poch took over, Jamie also says we had the youngest squad. Now we have one of the oldest. I think that's partly to do with this. We gotta be able to get that younger talent. And you got amazing guys. Tanguy Ndombele. Dele is young. Sanchez is young, but he's struggling. Tanganga, Reguilon, right? So we've got some pieces in place that could help carry us forward. But I do think, personally, our squad needs more of an overhaul. And that goes back to, I would say, Daniel Levy and the players themselves, personally. So, man, I'm not saying that I'm Jose in like some sort of, what do I see on Twitter? Jose Stan or something like that. I just think give him a little more time. You think about relationships, right? Like if you ever watched Flight of the Conchords, which was like a comedic duo, they had like a bit where one of the guys would say, man, I just feel like I've been dating these girls for 6 months, and every time I get to like the 6-month mark, she breaks up with me and says that I'm boring. And then later on in the show, they say that like it takes about 6 months to really figure out who someone is when you're dating. And I just think that's hilarious, right? It's like basically saying like, yeah, dude, everyone gets to know you, and after 6 months, you're boring. That's the issue. And I'm not saying that I'm just saying that with management and all that goes into it, right? The players you have, getting rid of Deadwood, establishing a new mentality, tactics, all that stuff matters. And I will be more quicker to kick Jose out after halfway through next season. I just feel like there's just too much up in the air to make that decision right now. So we're getting close to the end here, and we were talking about trivia. So let me pull up this, because I don't know if Techno is still here and Regina are still here. If you are, say hi in the chat, because we have a new first place. Techno has overtaken Regina and now sits in first place all alone with 13.5 points. Regina comes in second with 11 points. Ginty with 5. Eunice with 5. And then you got James Watson, Thomas Nation. And then you look at this over here. We got like a good number of people getting in here. And Ryan and Michael Stender down here, you're getting into the relegation zone. You're getting into the relegation zone. So be careful. So let me pull up some of these questions. And let's do some Tottenham trivia. All right, we all need a little bit of a relaxing way of ending this show, and hopefully, we're going to see some positive things for Spurs in the coming games. So here are the questions. Let me pull this up really quick for myself. Make sure this is working. Doesn't look like our countdown is working. And that's all right. We'll do a short countdown. And let's see. Go back here. There it is. We got it. All right. So 11-second countdown. This is how it works. If you're new, basically, I'm going to give a question. You're going to try to answer in the chat as quickly as possible. You get 11 seconds. Sometimes I'll give you more than 11 seconds, but I don't want too much more than 11 seconds because you could just Google that. And I want to know what you know, not know what you can Google. So, first question. Are you ready? Here we go. Question number 1. During a League Cup match, Eric Dyer ran off for an emergency poop. Who were Spurs playing against? First one to get it right gets the point. Ashley got in there. Well done. Look at all these. You guys got it. You know. Answer is correct. That is Chelsea. Very, very well done. Let me put that in here. Ashley, well done. Perfect. Okay, next question. Speaking of Hugo Lloris, here's the question. From what team did Spurs purchase Hugo Lloris? From what team did Spurs purchase Hugo Lloris? The countdown. Techno's got it! Techno's got it. Well done. Well done. Wow, you guys. Just want to give that correct sound again. Well done. Guys, you are quick today. You're ready to go. Yes, from Lyon. And like Regina said, maybe he wants to head back there. And, you know, Pochettino's over there at PSG. So you never know what's going to happen. All right, guys. You know, I picked some of these. These are simpler trivia for these one-pointers. So it's going to get harder as we go on. I'm just letting you know. So here we go. Third question for 1 point. Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a fan of what NFL team? Harry Kane is a fan of what NFL team? Do you remember? Do you know? Brutus. New England. I'm giving it to Brutus. Well done. Well done. New England Patriots, which I think is, you know, it goes back to the Tom Brady stuff, which, by the way, Tom Brady played at the University of Michigan, you know, the Mitten State where we are here. And yeah, I just think it's hilarious, right? He lives in England. He likes New England. I don't know. I mean, it was a good team to like while Tom Brady was there, but Tom Brady is amazing. He goes down Tampa Bay. They win again. So good. Brutus, you are on the board. I love this. All right, here we go. Question number 4. Question number 4. This is going back a little ways. How many goals? You ready for this? How many goals did Jimmy Greaves score in his career for Spurs? How many goals did Jimmy Greaves score in his career for Spurs? Ooh, Eunice got it. So close, Techno. But it was 266 goals. Well done, Eunice. 266 goals. And that is what Harry Kane is going after. He's going after 266 goals. I think he's definitely going to do it. Definitely going to do it. You guys are so funny. Oh, man, I love this. Way to get in on it. 266 goals. All right, question number 5. Question number 5. Going back to Harry Kane. We got a couple more Harry Kanes because I just, you know, I want to keep this one going. In May of 2020, Harry Kane sponsored which League Two sides kits? In May of 2020, Harry Kane sponsored which League Two's kits? Two sides kits. Do you remember? We're getting down. Crispy! Well done, Crispy. Crispy 881882. Ginty, who cares? Dude, we're playing trivia. Ginty, where you been? I thought that was a cool move by Harry Kane. That's another thing I was talking about on Twitter. Like, Harry Kane is, I think in America he would be like a national hero. Some of the different things that he's done and whatever helped out with the national team and stuff like that. But people hate on Harry Kane like crazy. But I don't know. I can kind of get it, but at the same time, what's going on? All right, how about this? Here's a really good. Yeah, autocorrect got somebody. That's hilarious. All right, here we go. How many goals? This is a big one. How many goals did Harry Kane score to win the 2018 World Cup Golden Boot? How many goals did Harry Kane score to win the 2018 World Cup Golden Boot? Who remembers? Crispy? Dang! Well done, Crispy. Got it again. And Ginty, you're in a bad mood. You're in a bad mood, Ginty, but it's okay. I'm glad you're here and hanging out with me because you're making me smile. 6 goals. 6 goals won him the World Cup Golden Boot. And yeah, pretty crazy. But the World Cup, I mean, it's not a lot of games or opportunities to score 6. He did it. That was awesome. Okay, this is the last 1-pointer, okay? Question number 7 is the last 1-pointer. This is a question that I've already asked once, and nobody got it. Nobody got it. So because of that, I'm actually going to make it worth 2 points. It's worth double. And we're gonna give you only 11 seconds again because I know how quickly you guys can get on that Google machine and just figure out what the answer is. So here's the question. Harry Kane has been the top goal scorer for Spurs since 2014-15, which is an amazing feat. Here's the question. Who was the last player to hold that record? So who was the last player to score the most goals in a season for Spurs in 2013-2014? Give you 11 seconds to answer that question. Who was the last Spurs player to hold the record of being top goal scorer? Not Defoe, not Crouch, not Defoe, not Defoe, not Bale, not Keane, not OJ. That's it, man. I think I'm going to have to call it again. Do I just give you the answer? Oh, Shootingham Jansen. Oh, Brong. Bruh. Come on. No, none of those. None of those. Not Soldado, but you're in the right, I mean, you're in the right time zone. It's actually pre-Soldado, right? So, is it pre-Soldado? Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, man, nobody got it. We'll keep moving forward. 3 points. These next questions are worth 3 points. And these are going to be maybe a little bit tougher. Some of you might know these right off the top of your head, and that's why you're here playing some Tottenham trivia. By the way, welcome, Leith. No, Ginty, not Teddy. So, yeah, go look it up. 2013-14, who held the record for the most goals in that season? All right, 3-point question. Here it is. Spurs. Their record win was 9-1 against Wigan in 2009. Here's the question, though. The trivia question is, what was the score at halftime? So Spurs' record win was 9-1 against Wigan in 2009. What was the score at halftime? Do you remember? 4-1, no. 5-1, no. Or 5-0, no. 4-0, no. No. Oh, these are great guesses. But they're not correct. That is a fun trivia to look up, by the way. So take a look. I know some of you might have already been able to look it up. And I see double answers now. And it's too late. So we're going to have to move on. Nobody got that one. We'll bring it back to another round of Tottenham trivia. Here's question number 2. Here's question number 2 for the 3-pointers. Who did Robbie Keane play for before he came to Spurs? Who did Keane play for before he came to Spurs? No, it isn't the pool. No, it isn't Chelsea. No, it isn't Blackburn. Come on, fam. I don't know, mate. There it is. Darren, Leeds. Well done. Darren, you're on the board. Darren Fearon. I hope I said that right. Well done. It was Leeds. Hard to believe. Isn't the record 11-2 versus Crewe? Yes, but I believe this is... I can't remember if this is our greatest ever Premier League win. I believe 11-2 versus Crewe was FA Cup. I believe. I just look up the trivia and then I deliver the trivia. I'm not actually I don't have all these stats in my head. That would be crazy. All right, third and final question. Third and final question is in what... Ooh, you ready? Am I even ready? Here we go. This is a good one. In what year did Spurs begin playing their home games at White Hart Lane? In what year did Spurs begin playing their home games at White Hart Lane? In what year? No, I don't see it so far. Let's see. 2001? Nope. No, that's much too late. Crispy, you got it, but I think you had enough time to Google that. 1907, and then you went to 1899. The answer is... Actually, no, you didn't get it. Oh, my gosh. Nobody got it. Sweet mercy, nobody got it. We're playing some Tottenham trivia, Ravager. Where you been? It is not 1899, although you guys are close. It's very close. You have to go... So, you Googled it. Wait, did you get it? 1899. Well, yeah, I guess. In what year did they begin playing their home games at White Hart Lane? I believe it was, no, 1882 is a great answer for Spurs. But anyway, guys, this is great. I'll have to update it, but it looks like Ashley, Techno, Brutus, Eunice, Crispy got 2 points. Darren got 3 points on that Robbie Keane 3-pointer. And so our chart's going to be moving again. Let me just go back to that, show that awesome leaderboard here. Techno is, I believe he will keep his place in first place, but we'll add some new names. Get rid of these examples down here and add some new names to this sheet. Probably some people are going to be in that relegation zone. And so we are going to be... updating this, and we'll probably do trivia again. Technically, it would be every other week. Last week, we didn't get to do it. This week, we did. And so, yeah. So I thought, this is where we're at. Obviously, we got some fixtures coming up. Oh, sorry about that. We've got some fixtures coming up, and let me just pull these up really quick. I would love to hear in the comments, what do you guys think we're looking at? We've got Wolfsburger on Wednesday. What do you think the scoreline prediction for Wolfsburger at home on Wednesday? And then we follow that up on Sunday versus Burnley, and that's also at home. So give me your Wolfsburger scoreline prediction, and then also give me your Burnley prediction. I'm seeing a couple already. 3-0, I'm assuming, to Tottenham. 3-1, 3-0, 2-0. 7-2. That's a lot of confidence. I like the confidence. Depression. Oh, I think against Wolfsburger we should have this in the bag. But personally, I'm gonna say 2-1 Spurs, maybe 3-1 Spurs. And the reason why I say that is because I refuse. Until I can see some consistency, I refuse to say Spurs will not concede a goal, even to Wolfsburger. And that's what happened, right? Sissoko gives that pen up, and here we are. We got that 4-1 scoreline away from home. But, yeah, I think it'll be 2-1, 3-1. I have a feeling we're going to put out some... a youthful side, a side hopefully that doesn't have to include a Harry Kane or a Heung-min Son or a Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and they can get some things going. So what do you think about Burnley? We're at home against Burnley. I'm depressed says 2-1 to Burnley. Not 2-1 to Burnley, but 2-1 against Burnley. I'm assuming 5-2 is against Wolfsburger. Ravager says 3-1 against Wolfsburger. 3-2. Rune says 1 for Burnley and 2 for Tottenham. That's a decent scoreline. Wolfsburger, hold the Mayo, bro. Oh, I love that. Wolfsburger, hold the Mayo for sure. 2-1 against Wolf for Ginty. 1-0 against Burnley. You know, Burnley, they're going to play the Burnley way. And like them or hate them, they've got a style that they play. And for Spurs, I think it's a tough match. Personally, I think it's going to be a draw. I don't think we get the W, sadly. I don't see us performing in the Premier League or the Premier League in the ways that we need to. And my hope is that we start to figure this out before that final against Man City. That's my hope. I think it does happen. But we're still in the crunch time of this. So, Crispy, never make predictions with some prayer hands. That makes sense. Imagine we lose 3-1 to Wolfsburger. Let's not imagine that. I don't want to imagine that. Darren says, if we play like we did in the second half against Burnley, I think we can win 4-0. Burnley are another bogey team. Yeah. It is what it is. It's just it's a tough team for us to play against. It's kind of like a West Brom or a West Ham for that matter. So, hopefully we can get that W on Wednesday and see that into the weekend. Like I said, I'm seeing like a 1-1 draw, maybe even a 0-0 draw against Burnley. And to be honest, I would take the point. I want to just see some improvement. I'm not asking for the moon. What I am asking for is hard work from the kickoff. You know, like blow the whistle, take the knee, stand up, and just go after the game. Go after the throat of the game from the first minute. If you do that, Spurs, I'll be happy. But until then, you know, we're going to end this show. I'm just going to sing that song. Let's sing that song together because I think we all know the lyrics now. And I would love for you to sing along. So one more time, we're going to do it out this way. Here we go. I believe in you. Sing along with me if you know it. You know we can't smile and watch you. We can't smile and watch you. We can't laugh and we can't sing. We're finding it hard to do anything, so we feel sad when you're bad. We feel bad when you're trash. If you only knew what we're going through, we just can't smile watching you. Your match came along just like a song and ruined my day. Who'd have believed that we were Champions League? Now it all seems light years away. You know we can't smile and watch you. We can't smile and watch you. We can't laugh and we can't sing. Come on, finding it hard to do anything. You see, we feel sad when you're sad. We feel bad when you're bad. If you only knew what we're going through, we just can't smile watching you. Oh, we just can't smile watching you. Oh, we just can't smile watching you. All right, friends. So good to be back. Glad that we could do the show this week. We'll be on next week. Thanks for singing along. Thanks for waving your hands. Hopefully you got your little cell phone out, got the lights going. Hopefully we'll be singing a better tune next week. That's what I'm hoping for. So fun to do this. Thanks for watching. As ever, it was great talking with you.